In this section, we are introduced to fair division of discrete items. And discrete items are items that cannot be divided, such as cars, houses, furniture, and all kinds of material things. There is much less flexibility with discrete division than with continuous division that we did in the previous sections. So in order to balance out the differences in the values of the items, the method requires that players use cash or money. So for this first example, we have 4 sisters, Jade, Kylie, London, and Mika, have inherited part of their father's estate. The executor of their father's will has listed the items the sisters were bequeathed, which include a house on Lake Pomeroy, an older model Corvette, and a small set of jewelry. The sisters confidentially bid on each item as shown in the table, and you can see the table here. Using the method of sealed bids, determine the final settlement for each sister. So the method of sealed bids is a very common process of the dividing up discrete property. It's used in all kinds of settlement proceedings. It typically starts out with a list of items, as you can see, and the players make bids for those items. Whoever bids the highest for a particular item is allocated that item. So the first step that we want to do, I'm just going to list it here as step 1, is determine what each player believes is a fair share. So Jade here, she bid $520,000 for the lake house. She bid $120,000 for the Corvette, and she bid $245,000 for the jewelry. Now keep in mind, again, none of the players knows what the other is bidding on. So the bids are done in secret, and typically some third-party individual who has no stake or claim in the outcome will manage the process. And that's the idea of an executor up here. They're the ones that are going to manage the outcome. So the executor goes ahead and collects up Jade's bids. And in total, Jade bid $885,000 for her father's estate. It's just broken up into these 3 items here. We just go ahead and tally all this up. So she believes everything is worth $885,000. However, she's got to split that with 3 other sisters. So we take her total here and we just divide it by 4. So I'm just going to write right here, fair share. So her fair share is the total that she has for her estate here, $885,000, divided by 4. And she expects to get $221,250 worth of the estate, according to Jade. Kylie does the same thing. She puts in her bids for the lake house, the Corvette, and the jewelry. The executor collects it up. Comes out to be $830,000 in total. Of course, she's got to split it with 3 sisters, so she divides it by 4. And she expects to get $207,500 worth of the estate. London does the same. She bids $510,000 for the lake house, $122,000 for the Corvette, $195,000 for the jewelry, for a total of $827,000. Divide that by 4, and she expects to get $206,750 worth of the estate. And finally, Mika winds up doing the same thing. Tally it all up, divide it by 4, and she expects to get $201,750 worth of the estate. So that's the first step. The second step, step 2, is the allocation of the items. So we simply go through item by item to see who bid the highest. And we could see right here, since Kylie bid the highest for the lake house, she winds up being allocated the lake house. She gets the lake house. So we go through here, we could see that Mika bid highest for the Corvette, so she gets the Corvette. And as we go through here, we could see that Jade bid highest for the jewelry. Now, a couple of things to keep in mind. London did not bid highest for any of the items, so she does not wind up getting anything. She's just going to get a final cash settlement. And of course, since we have 4 players here, but only 3 items, there's always going to be at least one person that's not going to get an item. Now, somebody can certainly get more than one. They can get all of them. It all depends upon how their bids go. Now, as we look here, we could see that Jade winds up getting $245,000 worth of the jewelry. Of course, her fair share is $221,250. So she's actually getting more than what her fair share is, than what she expects to get. So what she has to do is owe the difference back to the estate. So all we have to do is subtract the $221,250 and subtract that from the $245,000. So she's going to owe $23,750 back into the estate. And I'm going to mark it with a little O so I know that she owes the estate. So this is actually step 3. And I like to write it as owe and collect. Some players may owe, some may collect more, some may break even. But for Jade, she has to owe back because she's getting more than what her fair share is, so she owes the difference back into the estate. And we do the same for each player. Kylie gets $530,000 because she bid highest for the lake house. She only expects to get $207,500. So again, she's getting a lot more than what her fair share is. So she has to owe that difference back to the estate. So we subtract the $207,500 from the $530,000. So she's going to owe $322,500 back into the estate. And again, I'm just going to mark it with an O so I know that she owes. London did not get any items, so she's just going to get a straight settlement of $206,750, but she winds up collecting it from the estate. So I'm going to put down $206,750, but I'm going to mark it with a C to know that she's collecting that, taking that from the estate. And finally, for Mika, she expects to get $201,750, but with the settlement of the Corvette, she only gets $128,000, so she's a little short. So the estate's going to give her more money. So all we have to do is subtract $128,000 from the $201,750, and she's going to collect an extra $73,750 from the estate. And again, I'm going to mark it with a C to know that she's collecting it. So now step 4 is to see if there's a surplus. If everything worked out perfectly, there would be no surplus. But as we look here, Jade is giving back $23,750 into the estate. Kylie is also giving back $322,500 back into the estate. So that's a total of $346,250 that's going back into the estate. But as we look here, London is now collecting from the estate $206,750, and Mika is collecting $73,750. That's a total of $280,500. So these sisters paid into the estate, and these sisters took out of the estate. So if we take the one that paid into and subtract those that are taking out of, we wound up with a difference of $65,750. That is the surplus. So there's an extra $65,750 that's still in the estate. So what do we do with that? Well, then each player gets an even share of that. So we just take the $65,000 and divide it by the number of players. So we'll just call this share of the surplus. So take $65,750, divide that by 4, and everybody's going to get $16,437.50. Everybody gets the same amount because it's broken up equally. Now, step 5, that's the final step. That's going to be the final settlement. I'm just going to put it down here, final. So what happens is Jade gets $245,000 worth of the jewelry. She expects to get $221,250, so she winds up getting more than what she expects to get. So she has to pay that back into the estate of $23,750. However, the state has a surplus, so they wind up paying her back $16,437.50. So the difference between these two is $7,312.50. So this is actually, I'm going to mark it with a no, this is actually what Jade owes. So Jade's final settlement is she winds up getting the jewelry and owes $7,312.50. Same idea for each player. Kylie winds up getting the lake house at $530,000. She expects to get $207,500, so she got way more than that, so she pays the difference back into the estate. That's $322,500. But then the estate has a surplus, winds up giving her back $16,437.50. So we just take the difference between the two, and this is $306,062.50 that she actually owes. So her final settlement is she gets the lake house and owes the estate $306,062.50. London simply collects $206,750. Then again, she winds up getting another $16,437.50. So we just total these. So she winds up getting $223,187.50. So her final settlement is a cash payout of $223,187.50. And finally, Mika. Mika winds up getting the Corvette. She expects to get $201,750. So to even that out, the estate gives her $73,750. But then again, there's the surplus of $16,437.50. So we just tally these together, and this comes out to be $90,187.50. So Mika's final settlement is she gets the Corvette and $90,187.50 in cash. So now when you think about it, Jade's fair share is $221,250. That's what she expected to get. She winds up getting $245,000 worth of the jewelry, but then still has to owe $7,312.50 back to the estate. So if I subtract the $7,312.50 from the $245,000 here, she's actually getting $237,687.50. She really only expected to get $221,250. So she's getting about $15,000 or $16,000 more. So she's happy. She's actually getting more than what she thought her fair share was worth. The same way here. Kylie's fair share is $207,500. So if we take the $530,000 here, subtract the $306,062.50 that she owes back into the estate, she's still coming out with $223,937.50, which is a lot more than the $207,500 that she considered was a fair share. London, she winds up getting a straight $223,187.50 when she was expecting to only get $206,750. So again, she's getting a lot more than her fair share, so she's very happy. And finally, if we take the $90,187.50, add that to the $128,000 that she's getting for the Corvette, Mika ends up getting $218,187.50 when she really only expected to get a fair share of $201,750. So everybody's getting more than what their fair share actually was. So they're all happy. Also, the amount here that Jade and Kylie have to pay back into the estate, that winds up being $313,000, $313,375. That's the same amount that London and Mika wind up taking out of the estate. It's the same amount. So these are ways that we can check to make sure that everybody's happy and everything works out. But there you go.